Okay, narrative breakers, we got a strange turn of events. The LA fire chief has just exposed the LA mayor, in addition to the rest of the Democrat government that failed the entire city of LA. This is really one you have to watch.
Period. Did the city of Los Angeles fail you and your department and our city? It's my job to stand up as a chief and exactly say justifiably what the fire department needs to operate to meet the demands of the community. Did they fail you? That is our job, and I tell you, that's why I'm here. So let's get us what we need so our firefighters can do their jobs. Did they fail you? Yes. Chief Kristin Crowley, I believe the anchors...
This is brutal for many, many reasons. So we've been saying that the LA Democrat government has failed all of their citizens, mainly because of their poor management of their water systems. Now you have the LA fire chief coming out to confirm everything that mainly conservative citizens have been saying about LA. The government has failed the people, and the fire chief is saying it herself.
Wanted to ask a question back there. Had some comments.
We do, Gigi. If you could please ask her regarding the Times article that came out that the Santa Ynez Reservoir was closed to repairs and it was empty. 117 million gallons of water could have been used in this fight.
The question is about the Santa Ynez Reservoir being empty.
And if you guys don't know this is the same fire chief that went viral over the internet for being exposed for the city of Los Angeles propping her up in a position from being the first lesbian fire chief in LA, which was supposed to be a big deal, and they focused more on her sexuality than they did of her skills. In addition to this LA fire chief was also exposed for implementing DEI into the workforce. Yes, she was focused on finding people that could smile in your face when they come to try to rescue you. And that's the real quotes for them. In addition to this, it just shows that she increased the threshold for women to join the workforce over white males. It was specifically white males that were targeted. So that itself was pretty disturbing. And now she's turned on the entire city that put her in position in the first place. I'll tell you what, no one saw this coming. I definitely didn't see this coming. You never really see these people that are propped up by the system expose the same system that propped them. But we are in 2025, and things do appear different this year.
There's been a lot of questions about that. Sure. So my stance on this is when a firefighter comes up to a hydrant, we expect there's going to be water. We don't control the water supply. Our firefighters are there to protect lives and property and to make sure that we're properly trained and equipped. That's my position on this. So if there's no water, I don't know how the water gets to the hydrants. Please defer that to DWP or whomever controls that part. But I can tell you the resiliency of our firefighters, if there's no water, they're going to go find water. They're going to figure out a way to do the best they can with what they've got in a very dynamic situation. And I know you expressed concerns that those DWP hydrants would not be inspected thoroughly because of the budget cuts. That is something to discuss, and we're going to look into that in regard to how we can ensure there's going to be water when we need it. But in the end, I'm going to defer that to DWP and whomever else controls the supply. I can guarantee you that when our firefighters showed up on that day with what they had, they did absolutely everything they could do to rescue and to save people's lives and property.
And right here, we do see her mainly hammering down on the LA entire government, the Department of the Water Management. But on the next clip, we're going to see she's going to hammer the mayor herself, the one that was on vacation when the entire city of Los Angeles was on fire. It appears that after about 2 hours after this initial video went out, she did another press run and finally exposed the full culprit of it and blamed the LA mayor. And that's what you came to see, and that's what you're going to get.
And that's the bottom line. Now let's get them what they need to do their jobs. And so let's get them water, Chief, because I was with your firefighters and they literally were watching a house burn down with pain in their eyes, not being able to do anything except pull water from a swimming pool to try to save a nearby structure that wasn't burning, and literally watching a house burn to the ground because they had no water. That's exactly right. But did they continue to work, and did they continue to do what they had to do the best they could with what they had? Yes. Chief
follow-up.
Crowley, thank you very much for talking to us. We appreciate it. I believe we have a follow-up question from the studio.
Question on that reservoir issue. Is the fire department aware of when these resources are depleted, just like that reservoir had no water? Was she aware of that fact, that it was under construction and there was no water there?
Sandra Endo, one of our anchors, wants to know if the department is advised that the Santa Ynez Reservoir was going to be emptied. Were you aware that there was no?
So now it makes you start to wonder, what does the LA mayor and the surrounding government benefit from these fires? We do see that even some of their emergency water reservoirs were completely dried due to, gets it, repairs on the infrastructure. Now, the timing of all this is very interesting. It gives you reminiscence. Well, it reminds me of Maui, Hawaii in many ways.
No water there.
No, we weren't aware of that.
They don't have to advise you?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
So you had no idea that there wasn't such needed resource?
No, we weren't.
All right. Chief Kristin Crowley, again, Chief of the Los Angeles City Fire Department. Thank you for talking to us. I know it's been a very exhaustive, emotional, and I imagine you're mad, and I imagine you're sad. You may not want to talk about that anger or that disappointment, but I can see it in your eyes. Thank you. Thank you for talking to us.
Thanks for being here. We appreciate it.
Thank you. We'll send it back to you.
Well,
let me be clear. The $17 million budget cut and the elimination of our civilian positions.
This is when she finally had enough, and she goes ahead and throw the mayor under the bus.
Like our mechanics did and has and will continue to severely impact our ability to repair our apparatus. So with that, we have over 100 fire apparatus out of service, and having these apparatus in the proper amount of mechanics would have helped. And so it did absolutely negatively impact. I want to also be clear that I have, over the last 3 years, been clear that the fire department needs help. We can no longer.
So this has already been an internal problem. Now this is going to, come on, viewers, we got to go ahead and admit it. What's really the problem? Is this fire chief really a problem? If this DEI fire chief that we're calling her is stepping on the neck of the mayor, who's refused to address the problem appropriately, who went on vacation during the fires. I mean, last thing we known is that this chief did bring DEI into her workforce, but is that to blame if they don't have the appropriate tools to do the job? Who's really wrong here? Do we have to defend a DEI fire chief in today's age? What the heck is happening in 2025? I think we have to defend a DEI fire chief. I could be wrong.
Sustain where we are. We do not have enough firefighters. With that, I have also requested multiple budgets, interim budgets, to show how understaffed, under-resourced, and underfunded the LAFD is. So with that, also, we have clear data that shows the LAFD needs more help. We need 62 more fire stations. These reports also show that we've had a 55% increase in overall call volume since 2010. And guess what? We're doing it with less firefighters. I was also directed to develop a plan as part of a budget reduction exercise, and that could equate to $48.8 million. And I rang the bell that these additional cuts could be very, very devastating for our ability to provide public safety. That would have resulted to 15 fire stations closing down and potentially the elimination of over 300 firefighters.
So at this point, I'm defending the DEI fire chief. I'm convinced 2025 is going to be a wilder year than 2024. What the HE double hockey sticks like. So you're telling me, and yet again, unfortunately, the mayor is a black woman, and it's like, I think Democrats are intentionally putting in black women that can't do their job, like Lori Lightfoot, like Mayor Keisha Bottoms. I can go on and on and on. I'm just, for the sake of the video, all three of them are terrible examples of Karen Beadle, the LA mayor herself. It's like they go out and find the absolute worst black women to represent all of black people, and they say, hey, we're going to put you in power, and we're going to let you destroy everything, but make sure you're extremely loud about it, and make sure the entire world sees you while you do it. And I don't know, maybe they gain something from people viewing black people as lesser than, but that's exactly the result of what they're doing. they're constantly picking the absolute worst leaders in these Democrat-ran cities that are black people, and they're nothing more than mouthpieces.
Again, I want to be clear that I submitted a very large budget that will actually allow our firefighters to
their job. So it cuts off right there. So at this point in 2025, yes, I'm going to defend the woke DEI fire chief until we have more information. It's just terrible what's happening to the people of LA. I could have added compilations showing of people crying about their houses and whatnot, but that would just extend the video for longer than it has to be. Thought it was super interesting seeing how LA is actually burning itself alive, and it's eating itself alive, whether it be the fires or the government exposing itself. It looks like this is the year. I mean, it's the worst year for the Democrat government, not for Democrat citizens. You know, they won't be affected by what's going on, what I call the Democrat renaissance we're having right now. We're seeing many Democrats turn their back on each other, whether it be with the Mark Zuckerberg and his entire party, Jeff Bezos turning on his party. We've seen like 3 Democrat politicians switch to Republican, in the last 2 months. We see a lot of Democrats coming out and just stabbing each other in the back, and this is just another example of the Democrat civil war that's going on. I know that we had our own thing with the Musk and the H1B1, but still, to this point, that's just regular conservative infighting. We do this. You know, you ain't a conservative unless you get in some infighting. We infight like no other. But these Democrats, they are at war. It's a real life war, and it's a separation of their values from personalities. And it's getting to the point where people are putting their values over the Democrat personalities. They want you to act like you care about these problems, even like Mark Zuckerberg making it to where you can now say people that are LGBTQ have mental illness. People personalities no longer matters. It's about values in the Democrat Party, or it's starting to be about values in the Democrat Party. They used to just prop up people that could sell their narratives in a great way with personality. Values are back in style, and freedom of speech is on the rise yet again in America. We can only sit here and enjoy the ride, and that's for both sides. Whether you're Democrat or Republican, we're witnessing a transformation process in America, to me, that feels as significant as the Reconstruction era. I am so excited to see where this goes. Please like this, comment on it if you can, and click the notification bell to stay updated till we break this next narrative together.